Hello everyone! In this video we are given the quadratic equation with parameter m, and the roots of this equation represent the following relationship. So here our main goal is to find m. So for solving this problem I'm going to use Vieta theorem. So let me show it. So if we have a such equation as ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, then let me first of all divide all sides by a to get x squared plus b over a times x plus c over a is equal to 0, and the sum of the roots always is equal to minus b over a, and their product is equal to c over a. So using this formula we can easily find the value of m. So here if we apply Vieta theorem for our original quadratic equation, then I will get x1 plus x2 is equal to always m plus 3, and x1 times x2 is equal to m plus 2. So knowing this, we can now simplify this equation. So let me rewrite this equation here. So x1 divided by x1 plus 1 plus x2 divided by x2 plus 1 is equal to 13 over 10. And we see that common denominator here is 10 times x1 plus 1 and times x2 plus 1. So this is the common denominator. So we're here x1 and x2 is not equal to 0. So therefore multiplying, so let me multiply both sides by the common denominator. So to get 10 times x1 plus 1 times x2 plus 1 and times, so these two fractions, x1 divided by x1 plus 1 plus x2 plus 1, and is equal to 13 divided by 10 times x1 plus 1 times x2 plus 1. So therefore expanding each side I will get 10 times x1 times x2 plus 1 and plus 10 times x2 times x1 plus 1 is equal to, here we see that 10 will be cancelled, and 13 times x1 plus 1 and times x2 plus 1. So now again let's expand each side. So 10 x1 x2 plus 10 x1 plus 10 x2 x1 x2 plus 10 x2 is equal to 13 x1 plus 13 x2 plus 13 x1 times x2 plus 13. So let's move these terms to the left hand side to get 10 x1 x2 plus 10 x1 plus 10 x1 times x2 minus plus 10 x2 and minus 13 x1 minus 13 x2 minus 13 x1 x2 and minus 13 is equal to 0. So here there are like terms. We see that this and 20 x1 x2 minus 13 x1 x2 give us minus 7 x1 x2, and 10 x1 minus, so here minus 13 x1 give us minus 3 x1, and so here plus, and so we see that 10 x2 minus 13 x2 give us minus x2, and minus 13 is equal to 0. So let me rearrange the left hand side of the last equation as 7 x1 x2 and minus, if I factor out 3, then I'll get x1 plus x2 and minus 13 is equal to 0. And we can clearly see that x1 plus x2 is equal to m plus 3, and x1 times x2 is equal to m plus 2. So therefore plugging this value into x1 plus x2 and x1 times x2, so here m plus 2, and this value we have to plug, and here m plus 3. So then I will get basic quadratic linear equation with one variable. So therefore 7 times m plus 2 minus 3 times m plus 3 and minus 13 is equal to 0. So opening this bracket I will get 7m plus 14 minus 3m minus 9 and minus 13 is equal to 0. And here we see that this one is equivalent to minus 4m and minus, so here minus 8. So here 4 plus m minus 8 is equal to 0. And here, if you move 8 to the right hand side, 4m is equal to 8. And here we'll get that m is equal to 2. So this is our final answer. Thank you for watching. Please comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel.